G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. Spawning in on the north side of the map in the colour blue, playing as the Malians, we've got Fei-chan. And on the south of the map in the colour orange, playing as the English, we've got Your Heart is Clear, who we're just going to be calling our English friend. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Highview. Now, boy oh boy, do we have some good stuff to talk about today. There is a lot going on right now in Age of Empires 4, or at least a lot on the horizon. We are entering a golden age of Age of Empires 4. So if you're a fan of Age of Empires 4, I tell you what, you're up for an absolutely beautiful last quarter of the year. We're in September now, and let's start with it. The first thing on my list tonight, an hour after this video goes live, over on Twitch TV, EGC TV is back with the Call to Arms tournament, and there is one of the biggest names returning to Age of Empires 4 esports. Somebody, a fan favorite, someone who is considered to be one of the best players in Age of Empires 4 history. The Mister, the Farmer. He is back, ladies and gentlemen. I am incredibly excited to see it. So make sure you check out EGC TV. I'll leave a link in the description. Just remember, an hour after this game goes, or this video goes live, that's when it will be up. I guess you could also refer to it by the GMT time, 15 GMT. That's the other thing. Now, there's also been whispers, rumors. I can't confirm anything or deny anything. I did see a post on Reddit that said something along the lines of, all the content creators aren't streaming on Twitch because they're all busy playing the closed beta. Now, as you guys know, I don't really stream on Twitch anymore. And, well, there hasn't been many videos on YouTube lately either, but I can neither confirm nor deny that. But I can say that if I did know anything, I would be incredibly excited about that. So look, you want to stay tuned, all right? Let me tell you right now, it is beyond your wildest expectations as to what we are about to receive. And I'm not just talking about dinner. I'm not just talking about EGC TV. I'm talking about this game right here. So let's get into it, because Faye's going to be playing tonight as well. So I'm looking forward to seeing what she is going to be able to pull out today. This is a bit of a fun matchup for her here. I always love playing this matchup as the English against the Malians. I remember one particular game I played where the goal of it is, for me, to get as many town centers as I possibly can without dying. And the reason why this matchup is so fun is because in the early game, the javelin thrower is really effective against the English. However, once Castle Age comes around, the longbowman starts to become a lot more effective against the javelin thrower, just simply because the way that the mechanics work with attack speed, with no, whoa, not like this. It's terrible when this happens, and you can see she's so close to aging up as well, just barely 50 food away. Oh, just take one of them out of the queue. A little bit of a mistake coming through here from Faye, but does now move some villagers over, so the age up's going to come through. Was going to go with the Saharan Trade Network, cancels it, says that was a misclick, Drongo, and instead we're going to be going for the Mansa Quarry, which makes sense. Now, just remember, you can still, on a map like this, you can still go for trade. There's nothing that stops you. In fact, that's one of the things I love to do as the Malians is, and I think this was it was popularized by Salami, this whole kind of big brain thing where players have an option between one of two landmarks, the Mansa Quarry, where you can play more unit-oriented, or you can go for the Saharan Trade Network, which is more around trade. And whenever you would scout the Saharan Trade Network, you would immediately be like, oh, trade, rah! And you'd have to try and shut it down immediately. So Salami figured out, well, I can just go fast castle when making the Saharan Trade Network and then just kill them that way. And that became obviously very, very popular. But it kind of pioneered the way forward for a lot of Malian play, in that players decided that, well, I can just go Mansa Quarry and then make traders off that, or I can just go into the Saharan Trade Network and then not make traders. So it's very mixing and matching. But let's check in over on the other side and see what the plan is for our English friend. A lot of villagers on stone, so it looks like we might have that potential style that I was alluding to earlier. Not alluding to, I was talking about earlier. Interesting position here for the mill. But I guess at the end of the day, one of the key things to remember for placing your farms as the English, and I know a lot of new players will come into the game and that they will love to play the English. You do not have to fit 8 farms around your mill every single time. One of the most important things is having your farms in a place that is accessible to a town center or an outpost, somewhere where they can garrison, especially against something like the javelin thrower. Now, we do actually see a stable has been scouted out on that north side, so I suspect our English friend here will be looking to maybe even open a barrack, something like that, just to prevent that. But we do actually see it's going to be professional scouts coming through from Faye. So just going to be looking to try and clean up a lot of the hunt that's out here. And you know what? Our English friend, he's not going to have any problems with that at all because, well, as mentioned before, one of the keys here is to go into farms. So, yeah, one of the things that's quite common is you'll see players put the mill down on this side, a mill over here, a mill over on this side, and they'll just fill all of the farms in nice and close to the town center, and then they'll begin moving out away from that town center. But when it comes to second TCs, I'm expecting here that we're going to be seeing one go down. He's got a couple of options, but for me personally, in this matchup, I love second TC on the stone, go for my third TC, because it's going to take some time before the Malians can actually kill you, so you can get away with 3 TC. It's very hard, though, because your goal is basically to get to castle. You want to get to castle, and once you get to castle, then you're fine. I say you're fine. I mean, you're not really fine. You're still you're skating on a knife's edge. Is that how the saying goes? I'm not 100% sure, but you can see the force drop coming in. A lot of stone gathered up right now, and it is indeed going to be on the stone, and I love this. This is absolutely perfect. But you can see having a little bit of trouble here with the wood. An early drop off. He's got enough now. Going to throw down that TC. Scout comes back, manages to keep itself alive. Phil's now going to be working towards that third TC. I'm loving this play. I'm loving this play. So I tell you what, this is getting good. So let's talk a little bit about it, because you know about the expansion. We know that there's an expansion coming. Now, as I mentioned before, I can't say too much, but I can say that it. Look, you know what? I got to be careful. I got to dance around it. I got to really dance around it here. You know, as a member of the Age of Empires 4 Insider program, as most of you guys would be, you would all know that we have NDAs, non-disclosure agreements. It means that we can't say too much. So all I can say at this point is, look, keep your eyes open. It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. All right, second TC's down, man. I tell you what, I really want to talk about it, but I can't. So I'm just gonna go back to the drawing board. Cattle Ranch gonna come down here. Faye with the Malians. You gotta love this. Now, one thing to note is these little cattle right here, they do actually count as economic units. I don't know whether they count as villages up the top here, though. So let's go ahead and count and see what we can find here for Faye. I'm gonna switch to a perspective. So we've got 26 villages. I do see that. There's probably, yeah, there's the 27th up there. So they don't actually count as economic units up the top here. And there's the 28th villager coming out now. But I know that in the end game they do. If you go to the graphs as an example, it will count as an economic unit. So if you're looking at maybe they've fixed that up. I'm not 100% sure. I'd have to double check now. But I remember as recently as maybe a month or two ago, I did actually test that. I wanted to see. And there's the third TC coming down on the gold. I tell you what, this is exactly the style I love to run. One of the things I will note though is we're missing a bit of farms right here from our English player. You can see that we've got a nice good stockpile of wood here. Where are those farms? We want to throw those farms down as quickly as possible. So I'm suspecting we're probably going to start to see 1, 2, 3 farms thrown down very quickly. Looks like we've got 6 tiles of space here between these 2 TCs, which means you've got a great little pocket where you can put all of those 8 farms in. And normally when you're going for a 3 TC play like this, it's best to go up to about 23, 24 farms as you're hitting your castle age. As long as you're, following all the steps 100%, you could look for a castle age before 10 minutes and 20 seconds. That's a pretty damn quick castle age. And at this point, I mean, it's nice and quiet on the Western Front. Faye's not up to too much. She's just picking up all of the deer. She's looking to come out, and she's managed to pinch one of the hunts of her opponent so far. Second one getting pinched at the moment. But just remember that the English player doesn't really care that much. As long as I've got farms, that's all that matters. And we do start to see a wall coming down on the south side. So no javelin thrower threat going to be happening early on in this game, which I would say is a little bit of a mistake. I feel like javelin throwers early on definitely worthwhile against the English, even if it's just 2 or 3. Really, really good, because you can come in and poke villagers out, force them over onto this east side, then you can try and come in underneath this TC. It makes it really annoying for your opponent. But Sofa Warriors are now out. Fei Chan going to be looking to try and put some pressure on out in the middle of the map. Just chilling out for the moment. Upgrade starting to come through. We see Steeled Arrow on the way. Check in with our English player and see what he's going to be looking for. It's going to be horticulture, which definitely makes sense. When you're pumping out this many villagers onto farms, horticulture makes a lot of sense. Nice positioning here as well on the farms. I suspect we're going to have a white tower coming in somewhere around here. This is a great little spot right towards the front. Walls are on the back here as well. Does get caught by a wolf, but shouldn't be having too many issues with it. As long as none of those scouts come in on the backside, should be absolutely fine. And now towards the front. Now, this is one of those mistakes that people often make. They think, well, I've got TCs here, so I don't need to wall it off. But you've gone so well so far with all of those walls. You could have just done another little one towards the front here and you'd be 100% fine. But we do see it's slowly but steadily pushing towards that castle age. Numbers are starting to look good here. We'll switch it over though, over to income, as we've had a pretty quiet early game. No workers killed so far for either side. And I think the question becomes, where did the players go from here? Because I think, obviously, for our English player, the choice is clear. Castle age is 100% where you want to be going here. Going into spear, crossbow is always your number one goal. You can also look for knights, but it is a bit of a struggle in a matchup like this to go into knights, just because Sofa warriors do really start to get quite powerful in that castle age. Once they've got that imported armor, it can be difficult going toe-to-toe with them, especially because on the backup, you're probably going to want something like crossbows, and they do very well. But now we've got those javelin throwers beginning to come out, just a handful of them. I would have loved to have seen these earlier rather than later. Now, another thing to note, as the big cow landmark does go down, the Grand Fulani Corral, is I know many people actually think at the moment, Malians are still busted. They think they're still broken. Now, look, to be honest, I'm still a bit of a Rus fanboy when it comes to who's overpowered at the moment. I think Rus are definitely the top dog, but Malians are still pretty damn strong, so I'll give you that. And I like the fact that Malians have got the flexibility to play one TC but still focus on their eco, the same way that Faye's done here, going up to, you know, up to 10 cows despite focusing essentially on military. It's impressive. It's impressive. But now that castle age is going to be coming through for her. No way. No way. Okay, this is really greedy. This is super duper greedy. And to be honest, I really don't like this. And the reason why is because there is now a risk that you die. There's a risk that you die to a push that is imminently going to be coming through. The castle age is coming in. Now, granted, we don't see... We see the Grand Fulani Corral, so we know that there's not going to be that huge amount of unit production coming out. But at the same time, that's still some pretty decent income as more cows continue to stroll out across. Look at the cows. We've got double cow production now coming through as well for Faye. Up to 14 cows. Up towards that top side, though. Town center. Under a little bit of pressure. No battering rams out just yet. Do we have the blacksmith through from Faye? It doesn't look like... Actually, no, I know that we do. Yes, we do. Indeed, we do. Because we got +1 ranged attack. All right, age ups through. 4 TCs. So let's talk a little bit about decision-making here with this King's Palace. You've already got 3 TCs, which means that you're going to be outscaling your enemy if they're on 2 TCs. Going up to 4 TCs, though, is absolutely wild, because already you're ahead of them, but now you're even further ahead. But it's at the risk of death, and that's what is so scary about doing this. If you've got a white tower down here, there's no amount of pressure that Faye can put on that's going to knock you out at this point. She's done a pretty effective boom, but you're still going to be coming out on top. As long as this game goes past, say, 23, 24 minutes, then hopefully the English player should be okay. The trouble is going to be in the short term. Look at the upgrades that are starting to come through from Faye. We've got double broadaxe already through. Lumber preservation's coming in now. Veterancy on the sofas. Veterancy on the archers. Ranged armor also coming through. But on the other side, look at this, just eco upgrades. A single upgrade for horsemen. That's going to be it. Just opening up with veterancy on the horsemen. And now on the backside, double blacksmith going to get thrown down. Okay, perhaps our English player realizes, you know what, maybe it is indeed the time to shine. Look at the resources that are banked up here as well. Plenty of farms. How many farms are we up to here? Pretty close to, what, 22 it looks like it, judging by the numbers here. 22 farms. We've got 8 around the first, 8 around the second, and only 6 around that third one. The number's starting to build. So I think the biggest thing right now for Faye is that she wants to start pushing in with a battering ram. I'd love to see either a ram, something to start putting on that pressure. I think that's the most important thing. All 3 landmarks are at the front as well. So realistically, if Faye wanted to, I would 100% support a keep at the front with a siege workshop, and then slowly beginning to add in those trebuchets where you could look to threaten the landmark victory. I think that would be wonderful. As long as behind that you're picking up relics, as long as behind that you're taking sacred sites as well. So, you know, we really want to play into the strength of one base. The power of one base comes in from all these auxiliary forms of economic gains that you can make. That, you know, those upgrades that you can get, and we can see that she's getting +2 here. Cows, obviously, very important. Relics, sacred sites, these things that complement that single TC style of play. You know, compare that over here to the 4 TCs. All you care about right here is just making villages. That's it. I make villages and I survive and then I win. Whereas Faye is very much going to focus on all of those auxiliary things that you don't often, or you don't first think about when you're thinking about your economy. But let's check in with the cattle numbers, see how they're doing. I think Faye is maxed out. She is indeed 20 out of 20. Take a look at that. We've got 9, 18. There's the 20. So she's completely maxed out here. Got that new upgrade. Well, I say that new upgrade. It's been a couple of months now that that upgrade's been through. Horticulture obviously affecting cows now, which means that they do, in the mid-game, start to gather quite a bit more than what they used to. And Wall's beginning to go up. Quite a passive game. 15 minutes in. How did we choose this game out of all the games that get played every single day? We chose the game where nobody decided to fight each other. It was a standoff. And now the numbers are going to start to build here. Now, one of the things I'd love to see is a little bit of Imperial Age. I don't think it's going to come through, but I'd love to see Imperial Age here. I think this is where the power really could spike for our English player. As long as our English player is able to survive this first push, just straight up to Imperial Age, you could look to go into something like Rangers as well. Really start to hammer home the power of the English. Numbers looking really good though. Second gold established down to the south, and more units were rotating down, and we hear those relics starting to get picked up. That's Faye. Sounds like in the middle of the map indeed it is. Imam going to be denying that from the opponent. And now Warrior Scouts together with the Sofa Warriors looking to push through into the base of the English player. The numbers here are really solid. I don't think Faye's going to be able to find anything. And this concerns me. Take a look at the villager count. 115 versus 46. Rather, 56. I'm not that good at counting. The 4 TC English boom. This is something that they write about in children's stories. 1 TC. 2... No, it's probably more like... And then Aladdin went to the promised land and he saw 4 TCs all making villages. And nobody died. That's probably a little bit closer to home. Aladdin's a children's story, right? I mean, it's a... I guess. It's a kid's story, but I wouldn't call it. Drongo, settle down, mate. Your kid's not watching Aladdin yet. When is it appropriate for a child to start watching Aladdin? You know, the flying carpet? Probably shouldn't be flying. Anyway, we move on, we move forward, and we focus now on this push that is coming out for Faye. Double the villages of their opponent. The English player now going to be looking to defend here. We'll find it. And Faye going to be struggling here as that push comes out. 17 minutes into the game. Faye might have to head back to the drawing board. And speaking of drawing board, take a look at this. We may indeed have Imperial Age on the way. Bit of an interesting decision to push for Imperial, or push at the same time that you're heading into Imperial. A large number of horsemen. You know, not what we expected to see. Horsemen, normally in this situation, you're thinking it's going to be crossbows, it's going to be spears. That's the most common combo that you see come in the castle age of the English. But for Faye at the moment, just going to have to fall back here. Spearmen going to get picked off. Slowly, one by one, horsemen moving up towards that north side. Aware that there are villagers. Relic getting picked up. Sofa here to connect. Should be able to defend as the Wallalol comes through. Looking for the attack. Not going to be able to find it. Oh, she takes 3. 3 taken off her. Faye losing a couple. A handful. Meanwhile, towards the middle. Push stalled out for the moment. I love that sound. God, I love that sound. Fort of the Huntress now going to go down. Really nice position here as well. Protecting this gold vein towards the north. Second gold vein is also protected by the keep. Faye in a dominating position when it comes to resource control. There are plenty of gold veins on that south side, but they're only those smaller ones. It's going to be a little bit harder once the time comes. All right, well, Sofas need to fall back here. Faye gonna really start to struggle. You can see the numbers beginning to dwindle. Focusing down individual spearmen. Everything behind the longbows and crossbows just getting caught on one of those stables. Beautiful micro comes through. The age up now for Faye. Underneath the town center. Looking to try and kite back these units one by one. The focus coming through. Sofa Warriors moving towards the front, and the trade's through. We talked about it before. The trade is through. So looking to try and extend that economic advantage any way that she can. And now underneath the town center. What upgrades do we have on the way? Looks like we've got Elite Sofa on the way. Once the Elite upgrade for the Sofa comes through, should be a decent cleanup for her. A little bit tough getting caught underneath this label. I don't know, what do you call that? A label? I guess you could call it a label. But crossbows helping out a fair bit here. Elite upgrade almost through. Another 20 seconds to go. And now the veteran archers also going to be looking to group in. More reinforcements coming in from the south side though. And behind this, 143 villagers against 67. A lot of people look at that and they wince. I'm one of those people. But I will also just note that that does not consider the cattle ranchers. Each of these bad boys pumping out 109 food a minute. Keep in mind, we're in Imperial Age. Elite sofas are through. 190 versus 200, though. Faye just needs to hold on at this point. As long as Faye is able to get that massive sofa out, she'll be fine. You can see that these numbers starting to look really good, though. 8 armor, 8 ranged armor on them. She's got to be careful of the spears. Spears going to be able to find connections here. 20 minutes through this game. Faye's in trouble. Villagers migrating. Also got the traders that are going to get caught with their pants down. Look at the units streaming across the map. Siege Workshop out the front of the base. Outpost here as well, just to provide that little bit of extra attack speed for these units. And Faye in real trouble here. The 4TC English boom. Well, they don't... They say it don't be like it is, but it do. I think that's the famous quote. This is not looking pretty right now for Faye. She's struggling here. How does she possibly rebuild this? She's gone to Imperial Age. Over on the other side, you could potentially see the same thing coming out of the English player. The one difference, though, it's going to be the military. 52 versus 21. She's rebuilding down towards the south. Just a handful of units. Nothing on the north side. Oh, this is painful. This is so painful. 6 Sofa Warriors here. This could have cleaned up easily. She could have been back in the game 100% with that. And that's just been sitting idle. She's just been sitting idle, unable to find it. Obviously, it's a heavy game. There's a lot going on. And now that forward keep coming down to seal the deal from the English player. This could be it right here. Remember, there's trebuchets as well. I did see trebuchets in queue. Maxed out 200, pop 150 vills. You're going to have to delete some villages there, my friend. That is too many vills when you create too many vills for your own good. Elite archers have come through as well here. So, don't count her out just yet. Has she found them yet? She still hasn't found these few Sofa Warriors over on the east side. Gets caught out of position again. Got to be careful. Look at all the cows that are grouped up here. Beautiful and fat, 500 food inside them, but you know you don't want to do that. You just want to throw them back in their cattle ranches as soon as possible. 24 villagers now beginning to move in towards that keep. Already plenty of villagers there. Beginning to throw down that keep. They will be able to find it now. Keep goes down, and with that, all of the production going to be caught out. The cow migration comes through. Look at that. I didn't think shepherds dressed that way, but the Berkshire Palace. Oh, no, you didn't. In the face of Faye right now, that Berkshire. You can get it closer. Get it close. Bring it up here. I'd be throwing it down right here. The Berkshire in the face. The ultimate way to finish the game. Throwing down that Berkshire. Up towards the north, though, it looks like the Sofa's doing pretty decently here against the remaining army of our English player. You can see that the numbers are beginning to dwindle. If Faye, I was going to say, Faye's able to deny the Berkshire, but I can tell you right now, she will not be able to deny this Berkshire. The Berkshire is up, and now you've got big problems. You got big trouble in Little Town. Faye on 50 villages. Oh, I tell you what. I wish I'd looked a little bit more closely at this game. I thought it was going to be closer than this, but unfortunately, it looks like our English player is just putting on a dominating show. You know, I remarked earlier about how going for that 4th TC wasn't necessary, but if anything, this has just emboldened me to consider going for that 4th TC even more. I thought Faye was in a really solid position to push in, but I guess she was focusing a lot on the cows, not so much on military, and as a result, it meant that she was having a bit of a tough time knocking the English player off his perch. Bombard now going to be coming out. Poor Faye. Just being forced into the back of the base here. Economic units migrating away. It looks like more cattle ranches will come down, but unfortunately, going to be nowhere near the Grand Fulani Corral. The big cow landmark, one of the most important landmarks for that economy. At least it's still powering up these guys. Has she managed to pick up T3? Doesn't look like it. T3 precision crossbreeding not yet coming through. But plenty of cattle ranches now being dropped down. This is a textbook game coming out from our English player today. First landmark does go down. Second landmark under threat. Third landmark right behind it. Keep in mind the 4th landmark over towards the east side. Pretty far away from things. But when it comes to score, Faye's still within 2,500. I say within 2,500, but it really doesn't feel that. Yeah, it's... If there's one thing that Faye's got going for her, it's that the upgrades are yet to come through for the English player. They're picking up +3s here, which, to be honest, I'd be spending the gold on, like, elites. You're going to get so much more value out of elite upgrades than you will. Now, speaking of elite upgrades, we've got elite army tactics. Not the one I was thinking of. Second landmark goes down. We're approaching it. Now, is there a world where Faye... I'm trying to think of a way that Faye gets back into this. If we were to think about it from the perspective of Faye, how does she get back into it? Well, she's going to look to try and pick Pick off. Oh, the torches come out. Take down the sofa. They say, see you later, mate. Second Treb out as well. Spearmen. I don't even think these guys have got their veterancy upgrade. No elite upgrades just yet. Getting elite army tactics through. Nice little micro coming through, though, from Faye. Slowly pulling them back. But the economic numbers here are just too great for the English player. The reinforcements are going to be very, very quick. Not to mention the fact that there's almost 10,000 resources in the bank right now. Or not just almost, rather, more than 10,000 resources. And now the men-at-arms going to be able to clean up the trebuchets. And at this point, the game is almost certainly gone. If you're Faye at this point, how do you possibly get back into this game? Because when it comes to landmarks, you can't landmark snipe. There's 1, 2, 3 landmarks down here. But the reality is, how do you kill the fourth one? There's no real way to kill this fourth landmark. Granted, you could probably try and, you know, do a villager rush, something like that. But it's just not there. It's not there, and the economy's not there to support it. She's managed to get all of the cows back up and running. They're up to 109 again. Keep in mind that I think the Grand Fulani gives you an extra 20 on top of that for each one. So that means that the 109 that you've got over here was actually 169. That's a fair chunk of change. But I guess it just goes to show... What have we got now? A monastery going to be coming down in the base of Faye. And just a slow cleanup. But I guess that really just goes to show you, at this point, the power of that 4th TC. I thought there was going to be a lot more of a threat coming through. But now, 26 minutes into this game, Faye, she's got the fighting spirit. And I think that's what's important. Now, another thing to note, you know, we talked about it a little bit earlier, the fact that Call to Arms was coming out, EGC TV's brand new event that will be happening tonight. They've also got 2 more events that are going to be happening this year. So we've got Empires at War, and we've also got the EGC Finals. I'm looking forward to all 3 of these events, especially the Empires at War one. You know, Empire Wars, I feel like it doesn't get a fair shake of the sore spot. The games that I watched, the games that I played of Empire Wars was so much fun. I don't know why the games are so different, but it's just non-stop action whenever you're doing Empire Wars. It's really strange. It feels very cutthroat, though. You know, when we look at the way this game started out, the fact that you had 15 minutes where not a single unit had been taken out, you compare it to an Empire Wars game, thousands of resources of units gone within the first 5 minutes. It's good fun. All right, well, at this point, where is Faye's... What's Faye's plan? Let's ride on board with her and see what she's doing. She's got the market in this corner. That's obviously not going to be happening. Relics are on the ground. How does she see a way back into this game? She's going to lose the cattle ranches. Is she just hoping her opponent disconnects? Is she hoping her opponent doesn't realize that she's beginning to make units on the south side? I mean, even if it happens, there's just 4 TCs to replace villagers. The villager count isn't going to drop. Even you take villagers out this quickly, it's going to take years to knock them all out. Triple university? Is this the new English meta, ladies and gentlemen? Have we finally spotted it? The triple university? I thought you only needed 1. But here I am, a pleb. Look at that. The new English meta is born. And it looks like we've had plenty of cows try and escape out. Unfortunately, they got beaten up. It is a tough time right now to be a Malian fan, a Malian supporter. 28 minutes into this game. Faye trying her best to hold on. Now looking to approach onto the farms. Has broken through the walls. Keep that in mind. Not even broken through. Just kind of walked past them. But the big thing for me is just that 4 TCs. These vills are just... You could send the vills to fight. And it looks like that... It just deletes the vills! The English player just deletes the vills and says, hey, you want them that bad? Have them. I don't mind. Look, bringing the vills forward. Is he going to delete them again? Is he really... Is this the ultimate flex right now? I mean, look at this. You got talking about... Oh my god, the ultimate English flex is coming out right now. Poor Faye. Poor Faye. Don't do her like that. That is... Hey, come on. Come on. That's not the way it's meant to be. Poor Faye. I respect the flex. That is next. You know the crazy part is you've just deleted 60 villages and you've still got 95 left. Are you still making villages over here, Mr. Englishman? Doesn't look like it. We're starting to see Randy coming out right now. Last landmark has been located, and it looks like the remnants of it will be taken out here. Republicans should be able to defend these siege engines. And that's going to be it, ladies and gentlemen. I tell you what, Faye definitely went to the very end with this one. And that's the type of fighting spirit you need if you want to be winning EGC TV's Call to Arms. So make sure you guys check it out. As I said, I'll leave a link in the description to where you can watch it live over on Twitch. And with insufficient wood, Faye, unfortunately, says GG and goodbye. Guys, thank you so much for watching. Of course, the content continues. I hope you guys are looking forward to the golden age of Age of Empires 4. I truly am. There's a lot of tournaments coming up, a lot of content coming up, and, well, I'll see you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.